Mr. Scales here. I've seen some freaking like brain rot on YouTube, specifically this one that basically said that lone like some freaking the most freaking normie thing that I've ever seen in my life there. And a lot of freaking like normie stuff to be honest, so just basically like freaking like low content. Or not just low content, but basically so poor or just mediocre content to be honest, dude. Being fed by slop or even as well some puke, not even like freaking slop to be honest, but puke as well, or some basically like low product to be honest, not product, oh my god, it's like consumption, but it sounds consumption, but it's kind of like akin to be honest though, or just basically telling of something or foreboding of something or connotating of something though. I've seen this one that basically said that lonely man is what's that, but basically like lonely man blank 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 something, that's pretty much it. Just lonely men blank blank something, that's pretty much it. Just lonely men are losers or something, or just basically will not progress in life there. And to be honest, not really about that stuff, but there's a lot of freaking like content on YouTube that's basically kind of like sloppish, or like so really like sloppish itself, or just basically self-loathing or weakness itself. I remember this one. This is basically, oh, I know it's basically an art or an art or an art or in conversation or basically in scope of art, and just basically I hope your art never trends or something, dude. But to be honest, a lot of this stuff was just basically like framework or basically structured or propaganda is even not propaganda is but basically like an agenda of basically the elites or YouTube or basically the media, with specific social media or media, to basically weaken someone to be honest, dude, and make them live their life in a sense of conformity and small. When people talk about it basically they're confident or basically they're like the golden one. I remember a golden one that is seen his channel, basically the description that he's basically the golden one and such. The issue about that, there's a line between, not line but honesty and humility. Humility, there's I would say a freaking like golden mean, I guess. Golden mean, what a middle to be honest, dude, or one in mediation. Honesty and humility. Honesty, not really like golden mean, but basically just like honesty, humility, and pride. When one pride itself, it said that I am the fucking greatest itself. And basically there's an ego there was there that just dates I am as, oh my gosh, there's this freaking like feeling or just basically this freaking like self grandiose when one says something like honest and he is freaking a god. He is a god, or he is God, not God as in higher, but he is God as in Hindus. Like the Hindus basically said this well, or even a Gnostic. It's basically not Gnostic, but basically, if he says he's God, he is. There's no like feelings, not feelings, or there's no feelings or just fucking like thought of basic pride. He just is, or that naturalness itself, or just spontaneous. That's basically honesty in itself. And there's humility itself, but there's a side of humility itself that's pride too as well, or basic as well. Well, one essentially patheticalized itself. I remember there's one a saint, like a saint in orthodoxy, that basically said this that not said this, but basically I remember like watching like a trisagian films, or media or something, that basically a saint just said itself that he's as low as trash to be honest. And that's humility, but basically that's humility itself. That's cool and all, but to be honest itself, there's a wrongness itself to it though. Not wrongness in that, but basically in humility itself, sometimes the ego itself there will just prowl itself to it and just pretend that he's humble or not though. Like I am humble then. Look I humble I am, or I conditioned to be to I condition myself to be humbled, man. I condition myself to be humbled, man. Is that really like humility, dude? Is that really humility, dude? Is that really like humility itself, dude? Like, is that humility, dude? If If basically humility is being conditioned, then it's not how humility at all, dude. It's not humility at all. Or this idea itself. I remember this once basically like watching this um and Sam Pochi, him or Pochi, this really like recent video or just new update, new video, or just recent video, or basically like in date video. That's basically maybe just basically make an upload. Not really, just basically I don't know. That's just a big long time. It's basically there's a dude in a comment that basically said this as basically that, oh, Christian, oh my gosh, like oh my gosh, about salvation itself is a Christian concept there. But there's a people, or just there's a, or that individual still just has obstacles. It just still has obstacles and tribunals, or just tribulation. I mean, tribunals and tribulations, or it's just basically he still has suffering. So it's just basically he's still his same. He's just a bull top basically. It's just basically kind of that. It's I would say I mean there of just a western and crap to be honest there, but it kind of makes sense, dude. It kind of makes sense. If a thing itself is conditioned, it is on strife, and it is not on its natural state. It is not on natural state, or just is to be honest. In a nutshell, a freaking person is already humble. What's the point of humbling oneself to be honest, though? But much better than humbleness is you. Humbleness is honesty, because the ego will just absolutely just, oh wait, what? It will say itself that, oh my gosh, that's so freaking arrogant or something, dude. But it's not, dude. Not arrogant or something. If it's actually there's like an ego itself, there is basically there's a thought itself of there, yeah. But if it's one is honest in itself, or this idea itself of one's own, not one's own, or basically the will of someone, or just the will of good of someone, it will certainly just come back to them no matter what, or just basically it just reveals their own nature to be honest though. It just reveals their own nature to be honest though. So yeah. And so basically I know some freaking like westerner, not westerner, some freaking dude will just basically like use like some freaking like appeal is just basically make it absurd to be honest. They just basically stretch it and say it that, oh, so you just basically have just a main characters, not main characters, and they was just basically flaunted how freaking great and then that's basically ego too as well. So yeah, that's basically ego too as well, my guy. So yeah, not flaunting or not even like proving oneself to be honest though, but in a sense just stated just naturalness, or just freaking obvious. The best thing about faith itself is the best thing about faith is not faith itself. The true thing about faith is literally that it's obvious that you do not need to say believe. You do not say to believe, like basically you don't need to say believe, or just being repeated to you many times over. But it is just basically just obvious. The ego will say the self is basically this. Oh my gosh, if it is obvious, then that's too. You know what? That's basically much it. That's basically the freaking item of lecture. I don't know about lecture to be honest though. So yeah. Okay, now the end. That's it, dude.